So when you're making a transition, the one thing to keep in mind is the reason why you're trying to make a smooth transition. It's not so that you can look cool behind the booth and pull off some sweet beat match. The main reason is to keep people on the dance floor. Because if you have a poor transition where you confuse people or you bring them off rhythm or they don't know what song it is, it's going to be an excuse for people to leave the dance floor and go do something else. So whether you're doing a beat match or a fade or a stop drop or whatever transition you're doing, your primary goal is when you bring that next song in is to keep raising the excitement level and keep people on the dance floor who are already there and to bring new people onto the dance floor. That's always your goal, no matter what. So I want to give you an example of going out of Shout into Give Me Everything by Pitbull. Both of these are great dance songs, but I'm going to show you what, in my opinion, would be a poor transition here. Shout ends really upbeat, so if you don't know how it ends, I'll play it for you. So if you've ever seen this song done at a Cool Cat event, people are going nuts by the end of this. They're jumping around, they're shouting, they're singing, everything's going wild. Picture everyone going nuts, jumping up and down. Everyone, your energy's at like a 10 out of 10 right now. Okay? So now you're going to transition into Give Me Everything. Everyone's going berserk, and you hit play. And that was just a major drop off in energy level. So it's not that this is a bad song. It's not even that you did a bad technical transition. It's just that you went from something super upbeat into a slow part of the song here. And it's just going to really be this jarring transition, not in the way it sounds, but in the way people are going to react to it. So in my opinion, what a better transition would have been would be to go from Shout right into Q2. Because if you start from Q1, I guarantee you're going to lose a ton of people because they're going to see that as their opportunity to leave the dance floor and go do something else. Whereas if you jump right into Q2, you don't even give them a second to think. They're just grabbing somebody sexy and telling them, hey, before they have even a chance to catch their breath. So that's an example there of what I would consider a poor transition because you're transitioning into a slow part of the song. That's way too slow, especially coming out of something as upbeat as Shout. Another thing that you need to look out for is a drawn-out instrumental. So this is especially important on the extended tracks. And I'll give you an example here. Let's say that you get to a upbeat part of Give Me Everything. Alright, so everyone's dancing. Cool. Let's say you even know how to beat match. Alright, so we're gonna beat match this. Alright, so the songs are beat matched up, right? Everyone's dancing. Okay, so they hear We Found Love. Cool. That was actually a good transition, timing-wise. But, everyone's kind of looking around. Hopefully they're still dancing. It just wasn't a very tight mix. That whole instrumental bar there when I was talking to you was a chance for people to get bored and leave the dance floor. Or maybe they didn't recognize the song right off the bat because Rihanna wasn't singing. So a better transition would be to avoid all that instrumental bar, and if you had timed it properly, the song actually would have started right here. So I'll show you what a better transition would have looked like. Now, I don't have this timed up right. It is not going to end properly, so I'm just going to hit Q2 as soon as Give Me Everything ends. Now you're hoping everyone's singing along to it. Hopefully your MC is getting them involved. But the point is you don't want to bring in a song to some really long instrumental. This is a great song, but again, if you just hit play from the beginning, people are going to be wondering what's going on for a while. You want those vocals to come in pretty quick, or some recognizable part of the song. You would want to start it from there rather than the beginning. So again, avoid slow intros to the song unless the timing's right. This is where you need to use your judgment. But in general, you want to avoid long, slow intros and jump to where the song gets upbeat. And you want to avoid drawn-out instrumentals because people, that's not very appealing to dance to. That's kind of boring. But that's when people are going to start getting into it. And then another thing that you really need to avoid, this is actually a great example of a slow intro and an unknown part of the song. So you never want to transition into a song or into a part of a song that people aren't going to recognize. You really need to know music and know crowds to pick up on that on every track. But here's an example of It Takes Two. I guarantee you that you've heard this song. I'll play it from Q2. So I'm sure you've heard it, just in life or from Proposal. You've probably seen Betty White singing it in your favorite rom-com. But everyone knows that part. But let's say you're not listening to the track. Let's say you don't know how it starts and you didn't listen to it in your headphones. All right, so everyone's going nuts to Now That We Found Love, all right? Everyone's jamming. And then you bring in It Takes Two. You're expecting everyone to go wild and everyone looks at you like you are literally out of your mind. And you are uncomfortable waiting for Q2 to come on. Oh my gosh. And now everyone, if they haven't left the dance floor already, they're like, oh, that's what it was. So instead of it being a super exciting moment, you give everyone a really confusing moment, and you kind of lose the power of this track, which this is an awesome track. People will go crazy to this with the right crowd. So avoid starting songs from unknown parts of the songs. In this case, no one knows this part, and it's slow. So those are 2 reasons to jump ahead to... How much better does that sound? So just be aware of these things. Again, the point of a transition is not to be artistic or to look cool or to sound awesome. Those are benefits of a great transition, but ultimately the true point of a transition is to keep the crowd engaged. And they're not going to be engaged if you're, bringing in songs at the wrong moment. You want to make sure that it's timed out right, that they're not dancing to some instrumental beat for too long, that they're not slowed down the tempo jarringly with some slow intro, and that you're not bringing in a song on something that they're not going to know. You want to jump right to the recognizable portion of the song. So keep this in mind. Hopefully you like to dance, you like to party, so imagine if the DJ brought in a track from here. Imagine if a DJ brought in a track from this long, 16-bar intro. It would kind of kill your vibe. You want people to stay excited, stay energized, be in a rhythm, and constantly being entertained by the next track so that you don't give them an excuse to exit the dance floor. So I just want to point out that these are general rules of thumb. There are definitely going to be exceptions. A good example of this is Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. This song starts out with a slower instrumental, but it's okay in this circumstance because at the beginning of this song, everybody knows it, and it's actually going to elicit an exciting response from the crowd if they're into the song, if they like country. So this starts with... which is actually okay. You can totally get away with starting from the beginning on this song, even though it is just kind of a slow instrumental. Because, like I said, everybody knows it, and they'll probably go crazy when they hear that. So that's an example of an exception to the rule. You got to really know music, though, and you got to really know what people respond to. There would be nothing wrong with starting from here, though. As far as starting from slower parts of songs, again, there are exceptions. If you're coming out of a slow song, so let's say you're coming out of, I Won't Give Up, and you want to bring up the party tempo again, you actually totally, in this case, could start from the beginning. So let's say it ends here. So that actually works a lot better than this. Actually would probably be a little jarring if you started from here. Although you could do that too. It all depends on feeling out your crowd and just kind of having the intuition to know what to do when. But I did want to point out that the point of this video was not to tell you that you can never ever start a song from the beginning, that you could never do a slow part of the song or an instrumental. Another example of when you might want to do an instrumental is, let's say you know the song is going to be really heavily MC'd. So maybe the DJ needs that instrumental bar to say something. Like if it's at the end of the night, let's say you're ending with Living on a Prayer, the MC might want this instrumental here because they'll be saying, "Hi friends and family, it is the last song of the evening, so if we can invite everyone to the dance floor, we're going to send this night off right." And then if you hit Q2, that'd sound a lot better. So again, the point of this video is not to say that you can never ever do instrumentals or slow parts of the song. It's just to get you thinking about why you're doing transitions.